In the title of this video, I mentioned that this is the best IEM in the $40-ish category. And I'm not lying. I will go over precisely why I think the STA-K is one of the most difficult products to beat in the market. And this is one of those that's just easy to recommend and hard to let go as a collector myself. You get a design that's something you don't get to see on a lot of IEMs. With a dual driver configuration, you have a 10mm beryllium-coated diaphragm dynamic driver and a 6mm PET dynamic driver. Basically, one for the lows and one for the rest of the frequencies for tonal balance across the spectrum. And this, my friends, is true. Hi, I'm Daniel with the Biboyharanero team. I'm a gamer, voiceover artist, and audiophile. We've been in the game for about 5 years now, and we're reviewing new releases like this one. Subscribers are always updated with new products in the market. Anyhow, back to the STA-K. This has a frequency range of 20Hz to 20,000 Hz with a sensitivity rating of 110 dB and an impedance of 32 ohms. Let's go over the build quality and comfort of this set. Out of the box, you get the IEM pair, cable, 3 pairs of silicone tips, and documentation. You do not get a carrying case for this set, but to me, that's just fine. The IEM's cable is silver-plated oxygen-free copper cable with a 1.2-meter span. This terminates to a 3.5mm plug with 0.78mm pins. They hook around your ears really well, and they're not too heavy as well. They're also pretty quiet when they rub on my shirt, so I don't hear a lot of rubbing noises that climb up to the IEMs. Now onto the IEMs themselves. This is made with what I believe is resin, aluminum, and some more resin for the faceplate. If you look closely into the diamonds, you see the branding and unit of this IEM. And also positioned beside the faceplate is a vent. The IEM is average in size, so it's not too large and not too small. You get a pointy area in the resin shell for better fit in your ears. They feel comfortable though. After hours of use, I did not feel any pressure points inside my ears. And they feel really fitted well and seal very well. Speaking of seal, these included ear tips are really flexible, and I think I have fairly small ear holes, but I've tried this ear tip material before and found that the mid-sized ear tip works best for me. Usually, I use the small ones, but yeah. Overall, the build quality, box contents, cable, and ear tips are pretty much straightforward. I have no complaints about them. In fact, I would deem this just about right for what you pay for. I've seen ugly cables on $300 IEMs in the past, and EarAcoustic always has this silvery, shiny, very aesthetic cables. And now for the sound. If you get a build quality that's worth its price, you get a sound signature, of which I perceive is beyond the price tag that what you're paying for. Last I checked, I believe this will be offered at 40 to 50 US dollars, but I could be wrong. If I am, I'll put a correction in the comment section down below. Now back to the IEM, I wouldn't say that this is Harman compliant. It's almost there, but not quite. And let me explain further. This has a mild V-shaped tuning, so it's not boring, but also not overly energetic. Both lows and highs are very well controlled. The highs aren't too overly bright, and they also aren't sharp in any genre I play on this set. I would say that if you're treble sensitive, this is safe for you. There's ample detail and clarity delivered by the high frequencies as rendered by this IEM. The mids do not get drowned out in the mix, especially in very busy tracks. This, I believe, is because of the 6mm dynamic driver within. Very well thought out configuration and tuning. Onto the low ends, there's ample rumble to be able to bring out more bass extension and punch as well to liven up mixes. They're not overpowering, so for bass sensitive ears, you guys are also safe. However, I think this is both a hit and miss for bass heads. I really couldn't say if the bass on this set would satisfy a bass head. But consider this, when I started out in the hobby, I too was a bass head just like everybody else. And if I were listening to my old mixes on this set, I probably would not be yearning for more bass. Overall, the tuning is also what my ears deem as warm. Again, not overly energetic and also not boring like flat-tuned IEMs. If you want to liven up the mix and you're looking to add a little bit more brightness to the set, I would up the frequencies around 2K to 4K, and this should counter the warm sound signature. Let's move on. I used this for gaming and found that I don't need to do any EQ on this set for FPS titles. However, when playing open world titles, I personally prefer a wide soundstage with a lot of trebles, basically making the tuning sound more airy. A while back, I mentioned about upping 2K to 4K in EQ, and yes, this does deliver in terms of the tuning I need for a more realistic kind of spatial echoey sound. But let me address one of the biggest topics in gaming and audio, and that is footsteps. Because this has a 6mm dynamic driver within, you have a dedicated driver to help mids and highs cut through the mix. Meaning, footsteps are very well rendered. They never get drowned out. Never. Most of the time, footsteps will be positioned around 250 Hz, mostly in the lower mid frequencies. And boy, was this a pleasure to have as a companion for Counter-Strike. I stopped playing Counter-Strike and returned back to do some more of my audio tests in it, and the STA-K did not disappoint. I used this to play Dead Island Riptide, and as you would expect, yes, it also did perform and deliver. As a tech YouTuber who receives these products free of charge, I sell most of the tech that I receive, but it's really hard for me to let go of products which I deem are the best in its price range. And this is just one of those products I feel I would love to keep. It's a really good all-rounder in terms of music and also a very reliable audio gear for gaming. I think I touched on most of the important parts that I feel I have to share, but if I forget to talk about a specific topic, just let me know and ask away via the comment section down below. I will leave links down in the description on where to get your EarAcoustic STA-K. Don't forget to not subscribe. Did I get that right? Anyways, subscribe so I'll get a little bit more money. No, it's not that. Subscribe so I could deliver more of these videos to you guys. Bye-bye.